Well, good morning there, everybody. This is Jeremiah Farmer with LandFX, and we are here to talk about and look at FX CAD, our new creation. And I will have David here. He is going to be reading any questions you have. You're welcome to type any questions you have into that little question box in the GoToWebinar dialog box on your right, and we will definitely answer your questions. I'm going to go through all the basics of what FX CAD is and show it off a bit and see what you think. So let's see what we have, right? So first of all, what is FX CAD? Well, it is our name for this product. It is a licensed copy of AutoCAD 2012. It is part of what Autodesk calls their OEM program. It is a division of Autodesk that allows software companies, such as ourselves, to have access to AutoCAD, to the installation media, the program, all the administrative functionality, their help channel, and basically make a version of AutoCAD specific for a particular application. And there's a lot of complexity to the program. There's different levels to the contractual arrangement. But the end result is we're able to take the AutoCAD source program and source installer. We package it, we brand it separately as FX CAD, sold through us. The licensing system goes through us. It's supported by us. It is for use with land effects and irrigation effects. It will not operate on its own, so it is not just cheap AutoCAD for anyone in the world. It is a low-cost AutoCAD to work with our products to give us a complete solution to our clients. So how are we able to do this? Well, there are a few contractual requirements. So, let's discuss. Nothing bad at all, I think you'll find. But you start to see the volume of what we ripped out. It's just, to me, it's always a little interesting. But compared to a typical AutoCAD 2012 installation, the first thing you'll notice is, in your control panel, your add and remove programs, all of these come in when you install AutoCAD, and they don't when you install FX CAD. You might not even know what these are, but if you do use these, I'm sure you probably do know what they are. The FARO scanner driver allows you to run and operate a large format scanner from within AutoCAD. So you can scan a plan and pull it right into AutoCAD. The materials library works with their rendering engine. Network license management, of course, there's no need for that because FX CAD is licensed through us through an entirely separate thing. So no, it can't borrow one of your network licenses. Inventor Fusion is not there. The CAD Manager and the Autodesk Content Service is not there. All those applications from the installer are not there. And then once you start up the program, there's a lot that's not there. The entire interface has been customized by us, and the functionality is limited. This is actually very, very similar to AutoCAD LT. AutoCAD LT also as an example of something through this AutoCAD OEM program. So the functionality that we are required to remove from AutoCAD, all the 3D commands, the rendering capability, lighting, the materials library, it doesn't have any auto lisp or any sort of add-on capability other than, of course, land effects. Things like the action recorder are missing. With AutoLisp and ARCS files and .NET, those three all kind of go together. Those are different ways to basically have a add-on to AutoCAD. Could be a shareware utility for as simple as, literally, I've seen a shareware utility where you click on a piece of text and it underlines it. So, anything like that, that's not going to work. But the number one question we do get, which is very valid, which is something like M-Color, that AutoCAD add-on that allows you to colorize a plan. That is also not going to work. It's not going to install, and it's not going to work. We do have our SketchUp colorization plan view utility. and we are planning on coming out with something more native within AutoCAD. But even that, I believe, would certainly be quite some time before we have something that really rivals M-Color. So, long story short, just it's good to know that any FX CAD stations won't be able to run M-Color. So, if you do need to run M-Color, you would want to at least keep one full AutoCAD license, so that can be the M-Color station. Well, enough of this negative stuff. What is there? Well, you'll notice it looks and feels just like AutoCAD. I'm going to pull it up here in a minute and show you. So this is not going to be just a PowerPoint presentation. But you'll see all the core AutoCAD functionality is there, drawing and modifying and dimensioning, and everything that's just it looks just like AutoCAD. But depending on what version of AutoCAD you're coming from, there have been some really cool enhancements, some of them very recent. The insert PDF as an underlay, and I'm going to show that. That's very handy if all you have to work with, for instance, as an irrigation designer, is you just get a PDF of the site and the planting plan. It's a lot easier to work with that now. It has a native ability to export or print as a PDF file, so you don't need to use Adobe or Acroplot or PDF 995, are the three primary ones to print as a PDF. In terms of add-ons, though, those are not technically AutoCAD add-ons, as a very important note on that. If you would prefer to use your Adobe PDF or your PDF 995. Those are just printers, so those will still work with FX CAD. So just as a key note, don't think that that's an add-on that won't work. Any of your PDF output will work. A really cool feature which we haven't even really started diving into is object transparency, which is as new as, I believe, 2011, 2010, 2011, right in there. And that's particularly interesting for us in landscape architecture. So that's going to really help us to do things like giving a little bit of transparency to a solid filled tree canopy so that you can still see what's underneath it when you plot it, and ideally in true color. So that's a nice one to play with. The annotation scales go back to AutoCAD 2007, 2008. They've really dialed that in. We are working on some preliminary ability for the annotation scales. So we're going to be rolling out full support for annotation scales to very easily have a plan in multiple scales. And our SketchUp connection is still there. So even though all the native AutoCAD 3D capability is missing, we can still run our SketchUp connection fine. So you can still send your planting design over to SketchUp.
We do have a couple of questions, Jeremiah.
Okay.
One is, being new to CAD, I'm taking a Georgia class at a community college, and they have AutoCAD 20. He just says 201. I'm assuming he means 2011, with the ribbons for commands. And maybe you can get into this later when you look at it, but it says, is it possible to switch back and forth from the toolbars to ribbons on FX CAD, and how do you do it? Maybe bear that in mind for later, but just wanted to mention that question. Let me give you the other question, and then you can decide what you want to do. Are you going to show us how object transparency works and looks?
Oh,
and those are the two questions.
All right. Yeah, those are good questions. Yeah, I'll be sure to show both of those in just a minute here when I pull it up. So those are both very good. And in terms of the ribbon, actually, yeah, those both are going to be a lot easier to show off when I pull it up, but I'll show a little bit here, as you can see in this screenshot even. We have customized the interface completely. We've very much provided a sort of a classic look, even what Autodesk calls AutoCAD Classic. But we even call it a CAD Classic. This style, the non-ribbon style, is far more in common with Bricks CAD, DraftSite, MicroStation, even AutoCAD Mac. So, we prefer the toolbar display with the pull-down menus. Other users have mentioned the same. And we just feel it's a more common, understandable interface. And so, that's what we've provided as a default. You are absolutely welcome to turn on the ribbons and customize the interface, in fact, however you wish. So you can turn the ribbons on, you can tweak the toolbars however you wish, but we provide as a default an interface that looks actually very similar to the AutoCAD 2004, frankly, because we do have a good number of people who've migrated from 2004. And as I always call it, I don't know if you remember, there's a great movie called Remembering Lenin, where the guy's grandma goes into a coma in 1988, and she comes out after the wall has fallen and communism has collapsed in Eastern Germany. And so to try to not shock her into going back into a coma is they all have to keep pretending like Lenin is still around and communism's still vibrant. And so I just kind of think of that as we're just still keeping the pre-fall of the Berlin Wall look of AutoCAD here. But anyway, but why FX CAD? In our mind, it's very much a no-brainer in certain key circumstances. If you have a land effects station where that person, that computer is just day in, day out, mostly doing land effects work, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's going to give that person the latest AutoCAD version with a very affordable cost and the entire support channel through us. There you go. So again, you can't be putting me simpler. But if that person is absolutely reliant on things like M-color, it does become a bit of a head scratcher. But so that's for you to kind of investigate. Now,
but let me get a couple of quick questions in. You may not want to. I know you'll answer them later. Just want to bring them out. What is the cost difference between FX CAD and traditional AutoCAD? And will I still be able to import AutoCAD 2012 designs and work with them?
Yes. As for that second question, again, it is just simply AutoCAD 2012. So all of your core functionality, your most core functionality, of course, is just simply opening and saving. It's just AutoCAD. There's no difference at all. So you're going to be able to open, save, plot, dimension, all of that is there. And then the cost I'm going to get to in actually the next panel here. But again, so there are these reasons that absolutely you should not get it. If you absolutely rely on add-ons such as M-color, there's any number of add-ons to AutoCAD. We, of course, are just an add-on to AutoCAD. But of course, ours will work, but not the other ones. Another key one, we do get a lot of questions to this, is people go, oh wow, so I can buy your FX CAD, I can install it on my desktop, and then I can also install it on my laptop. And unfortunately, the answer to that is no. So we are the licensing system that we have with Autodesk. It is by installation. You are given an install code for that one and only one installation. So if that is your intention, you are going to be unable to do that. Now, perhaps you prefer Autodesk or your Autodesk resellers tech support to ours. Maybe there's certain people there and you like dealing with, and you prefer to keep dealing with them. Maybe you prefer paying full price for AutoCAD. Some people are gluttons for punishment. As for that money, here's what we're talking. Our FX CAD is $19.95 a license. Again, that is per activation. So that's going to be per machine. There obviously are volume discounts available, and in fact, even in that laptop example, if you do want a desktop and a laptop, we can give you a reduced rate on that $19.95 for the laptop copy. But it's not going to be much less than $19.95, but it'll be a bit less. As for the renewals, again, so basically you're looking at these. All these prices are right at just under half the price of full AutoCAD. So AutoCAD on a subscription is $500 a year. This FX CAD renewal, if you renew each year, is $250. So to get the AutoCAD 2013, which is going to have a new file format version, So to be able to open those 2013 version DWGs, that's only going to be a $250 renewal. Now some people, they go, well, I don't like to update every year. I like to skip a year. And so these are the skipping year prices. So if you were to buy this 2012 version for $19.95 and you say, well, I'm just going to upgrade it to the 2014 version, that'll run you $750. That compares, of course, to with AutoCAD, if you skip a year, you're looking at $1,500. Or actually, I think even more. But again, when I checked, I believe all these prices are comfortably under half of what it is of the full version of AutoCAD. But again, look at all that there are limitations of the program. That's you get what you pay for. You get a functional, land effects capable version of AutoCAD for half the price of AutoCAD. I mean, the trade-offs are there. Landscape architecture and irrigation design are not these giant segments of the AutoCAD market that Autodesk resellers feel they've been able to adequately serve. All of this contributes to us being admitted into this program through Autodesk and being able to offer this low-cost AutoCAD. And then the very important footnote as part of this is, like I said, this is intended, it's not as intended as a low-cost AutoCAD for just AutoCAD stuff. It does require a valid land effects license. So that 1995 is not operational. If you have nothing, you need to get that 1995. That's just for the CAD engine. Now you have to choose your land effects functionality, which is obviously, do you need irrigation or not? We have that split licensing between land effects and irrigation effects. So if you need a land effects station, if you have nothing right now, you're looking at that 1995 for the FX CAD. Now then you go, okay, what land effects functionality do I need? And admittedly this gets a little complicated because you see that FX CAD activation is on a per machine basis, whereas the land effects license, technically, it could be installed on a network server and can technically float around the network. So, in a lot of our existing offices, you can have 2 land effects licenses on your server, and you have 3 people who routinely share those 2 licenses. Now, if you were to add FX CAD into that mix, every time that FX CAD station, every time he turns on FX CAD, opens it up, it is going to lock a land effects license because it is intended as a land effects product. So I hope that makes it clear. It's, like I said, I know it's a little difficult, but the key thing is if you just simply keep in mind that they go in lockstep, FX CAD and then land effects, but they are separate in terms of their activation, in terms of their pricing. So that 1995 does still require the land effects license. But of course, I'm sure chime in if I didn't quite make that clear. But now I'm going to go ahead and show you what we're talking here and answer some of the questions that are there. So here is FX CAD. Again, as I said, we've tweaked the interface. I'll even turn off some of our toolbars. I didn't realize I had these still on. So we have the core AutoCAD toolbars. Which, as you'll notice, this is even we've basically customized the interface, so it looks very similar to as if a user has gotten into the CUI interface, which is available. I can type CUI, and I can continue to customize this interface. And I can go into these, and you'll see all the AutoCAD toolbars are here. The only ones that are absolutely gone are things like the actual 3D related toolbars are just absolutely gone. But UCS and UCS2, if you like that button and you want to move this UCS button somewhere, you're welcome to. That functionality is all there. And then here is our land effects toolbars, and so they're there as well. But we opted for actually, I guess this is a little non-standard. I believe this one, I don't know, but anyway, the basic toolbars are here. I think I just prefer this one over here and this one over here, but I believe the actual default installation has those swapped. But, you know, you can see your drawing tools, and again, you know, we felt it made sense to have make block right there in the draw toolbar, insert a block and hatching, inquiry and list. The text tools are here. Your standard functionality. Your modifying tools on the right. If I go through some of these pull-down menus, a key one, for instance, the Tools menu. If you may notice, a lot has been ripped out of here. Where's the AutoLisp, the Visual Lisp IDE interface? That's not here. The Action Recorder, that's not there. If I go to Draw, oh, where's the Draw 3D donut? Or the donut is there, but the Draw 3D pyramid, you know, the Draw 3D pyramid, all the 3D drawing capability is just simply gone. Oh, I want to render. Let me type render. That's not going to work. So the functionality is limited, as you can see. But, you know, as for things we care about, I have full dimensioning capability. I can format everything imaginable. I can't format my my material style because there is no material style. But all my other format capability is there. All my land effects items are there. The ribbon, I believe that's just the ribbon command. And so there you go. There is the ribbon, if you prefer the ribbon turned on. And ribbon close. There we go. All right, so I hope that answered the ribbon question. But I want to show some of the cool functionality of recent, this PDF underlay. Like I said, I believe that was 2011 is when this came up. But I can insert a PDF, and actually I know this needs to be rotated a -90, and just do the normal here. So you see, I was able to insert. This is a PDF. But I inserted this PDF, so I got this PDF from wherever, and now I need to do my plan. What you would typically do, first of all, is, of course, I need to scale this. If I was to run a distance command between any 2 points here, you can see that's 0.38. It was 0.38 inches, or better yet, something like this stairway. So this is the actual size of the paper. This is right at the PDF, which of course a PDF file is just a piece of paper. So the first thing I would need to do is I would need to scale this up to the actual size of the site. And of course there's a few ways to do that. If I trust the the distance on the scale feature here, I could actually go by that. I could just measure a fixed width object, or if I have 2 fixed points, and I can scale it up to be the actual size of the site. But I don't know if you notice, but the snap capability works. So I can now trace over this site very easily and draw my base very, very quickly. So that is a really, really nice feature that you know, finally Autodesk has, and we're able to support that.
We have a couple of questions.
Okay.
One is one more attempt. 1 year renewal is $250 a year. 2-year renewal $375 per year. Is this correct? The other question is, I don't like ribbons or toolbars. What about keyboard short commands?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do the keyboards first. That's still here. If I can find it, I believe that's right here. So customize. So again, I can still customize. I can customize the interface, and I can customize my keyboard commands. You know, that is still here, and in that still awkward method. You know, you might want to consider yourself among. Remember the screen menus? If anyone goes back to AutoCAD version 12, the screen menus, that's the pre-Windows days. The screen menu is actually a really brilliant way to do AutoCAD, this big menu that appears on the whole sidebar on the right. And honestly, it is a very elegant way to kind of have an in-between of a command line and a pull-down menu all in one. And yes, they were fantastic. But with the transition to Windows, screen menus went away and it went to a toolbar-style interface. And now screen menus are all but completely gone. So it's something to keep in mind. The keyboard wranglers. I'm sure it's going to always be there, but the fact that this is the method for editing your keyboard commands makes me worry that AutoCAD doesn't have much of a support level for you. And as soon as this goes away, you might be forced to start using toolbars. But yeah, your keyboard commands are all going to be there. Back at the pricing, I'll try to show that again just real quick. There we go. So again, it's the renewal, and again, remember this is irregardless of your actual Land Effects license. So your Land Effects, because we have the separate pricing for whether it's with or without irrigation capability. So you already have your Land Effects license, or if you're considering getting it, that has a separate cost as well. We're welcome. Obviously, we can. We'll add up the two costs for you, but they are separate. This is just your CAD engine, so you're comparing all of these dollar figures right here to just your CAD engine. Whether you have AutoCAD, BricsCAD, you're considering AutoCAD Mac, it's just the CAD engine itself. But this one is specifically formulated to work with Land Effects and does require a Land Effects license. But if you were to renew it every year, that would be only $250 a year. If you skip a year, so if you skipped a year, that if you had renewed every year, that would have been you would have been out $500, but we're forced to accrue an additional $250 penalty. So if you skipped a year and renewed after 2 years, it's a $750 renewal. So you're paying a $250 penalty per year you skip. So basically, yeah, you do the math. You're going to be paying the $250 a year whether you pay it or wait. It's a matter of if you're going to pay that penalty that Autodesk passes on to us to pass on as we license the software. The same thing with the cost of the license is virtually all of that goes to Autodesk. We take the money, then we ship it off over to them. So, all of this is basically going right through us to Autodesk. We're just able to offer you the support channel here, and also able to offer people a great product, a great complete product, without having to say, oh, go and buy AutoCAD at $4,000. Another cool feature I wanted to show here. A lot of things in options are new. This XREF fade control. Some people really swear by it, other people not so much. But you see the XREF line work here got faded, and I can even fade it almost completely to nothing. So I can barely even see it. Which is it's really cool in some circumstances, in some uses. I think particularly in things like irrigation, to be able to fade that. And they've got that fade control is an option for when you freeze a layer. You can have frozen or locked layers also be faded, and you can set their fade percentage. So that's a really nice little feature. They've added a lot of graphical enhancements, like the selection. First of all, you see it's transparent. But also it's blue and solid line this way, that's a window, and green and dashed line for the crossing if I go to the left, which is handy, certainly to new users of AutoCAD to appreciate that. So, but a lot of little enhancements like that. The selection preview, like I'll just say erase, but as I hover over objects, I get the preview of what I'm hovering over, which can be really handy when I'm trying to grab a certain thing and not something else. Depending on a previous version of AutoCAD, trying to pick this plant and not the hatch can be difficult. But this way I can see, oh, okay, that's actually what I'm hovering over, and I can grab just that. So little things like that are really, really quite cool. And I'm going to try to show the transparency here. I think I can just show the same guy here. Let me see. Does that really show anything? I think I need to. I'm going to go ahead and just see if I can get away with drawing a little solid hatch, and we'll see what that looks like. So I was not fully prepared for this, but let's see what we can do. And so I'm going to need to move this to the front, which is, if I can remember, quick, someone shout out, where's move to front? Draw order, there we go.
Modify? Oh, there. Yeah. It's all over the place.
So, all right. You know, typical AutoCAD. So your options are to use that draw order command with a solid hatch to move it to either front or back. Very frustrating. Well, this new transparency setting, which of course can be by layer, which would be a better way to do it, and just manage it through the layer. But just more easy of doing this. I think I still couldn't see it here. I turned transparency on the command line. All right. There we go. How's that? I mean, down here, see I have a transparency toggle. So turn your transparency on or off. And then that does affect the plotting as well. So when you plot. So that gives a whole new capability, particularly for landscape architects. I don't know of any other discipline who has so many overlapping things. It's very rare. So that just gives us a whole new ability to say, oh, let's assign some different transparencies and see how that looks. So that's the cool transparency setting.
I have a couple of comments and questions here. If you could go back to the PDF, the question is, it appeared you could snap to the endpoint of a PDF. Does the snap work on the PDF image? Another question is, my instructor at the community college gave us a wonderful list of all keyboard commands. I can send it to you or anyone who would like it. So my question to you, Jared, would you like that person to go ahead and send it to us?
Certainly. That's also that would be a good list. I wonder if that's even, I would imagine AutoCAD even must have that as somewhere. Yeah, the only one I know of is just jumping right in and taking a look at the PGP file and just saying, and here they all are. So these are all the keyboard commands here. But of course, you might go, well, what is, I don't know, some of these, some of these might be like, what the heck is that? But yeah, certainly, yeah, if anyone wants to send that over, we'll have it. Anyone else, if you'd like that list, we will have it in our purview. But again, here I have the PDF, and I'm going to draw, and now I'm on a more visible layer here, so you can see I'm drawing a red line, and I'm able to snap to these things in here. So that's the beauty of that insert PDF underlay, is it's not inserting just a picture of the PDF like the raster image, like previous versions. It was your only capability. A PDF file is actually vector. It's not just a JPEG image. It is these little vectors here that it's drawing. And so now AutoCAD has the ability to read that in, and so of course I can snap to anything, literally anything in here. I should probably be able to snap to, yeah, all these little dots even, because everything in here, everything in a PDF is a vector. So I'm going to be able to snap to anything, which, yeah, is just going to make this a total breeze to convert a PDF into an actual drawing. But I don't know how often that is, because typically a PDF should have been generated from CAD and probably should be able to get that DWG from the person, but maybe the PDF was generated from something like MicroStation or Vectorworks, and it might just be more expedient to retrace a simple residence than to worry about trying to convert a different format file.
I have a quick PDF question here. Can you select an area in between the PDF lines and hatch?
Well, that is an interesting one. Let's see here. I wonder if we can pick, I'll just try maybe get a color even. It It's not taking that as an interior point. And yeah, I can't really select on anything, so yeah, that's an interesting one. So it looks like, I'm able to snap to stuff in here, but see, since I can't select it, these aren't AutoCAD selectable objects. That means things like trimming or hatching or even erasing, that's not going to work. So you are going to have to basically trace over the PDF the line work that you do want, and then of course delete or turn off that PDF and leaving only your line work. Good question.
Another question on the shortcuts, the keyboard commands. Most of us are familiar with AutoCAD shortcuts and the PGP file. How about shortcuts for land effects commands like insert sleeve, for example? That requires me to go back to the toolbar each time.
Exactly, yeah. We have been assembling that. There's, 220, I believe, roughly 230 total land effects commands, and we've started assembling their full command name. We do have on our little to-do list to come up with a land effects PGP file. We don't want to go ahead, for instance, like, let's take that example, insert sleeve. Okay, well, there's not an IS in here, but if there was, if maybe someone already had an IS, I wouldn't want to overwrite that. So we are in production of a land effects PGP file. If you are interested in that, shoot us an email or a tech support request, and we'll give you what we have now. What we have now is able to be basically pasted in here and then tweaked as desired, because as you can imagine, certainly people who have customized this, there's going to be little conflicts or preference problems. And then of course there's people are left-handed or right-handed and prefer to use one or the other, and so it's hard for us to basically assign a 2, 3, or 4 character command for something like project plants. Without knowing, well, gosh, well, wouldn't someone already have PEP assigned, with something else? So, but yeah, we are well underway in that. So give us a holler if you want what we have.
While you still have this PDF up, we got another question. You did snap to the end of the line. What about the other snap functions, midpoint, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I'd imagine we could snap to all kinds of things, midpoint, center, and certainly nearest, parallel, paired intersection, and we're going to have there's all kinds of things, so there's my midpoint snap there. Nearest, I guess, I'm sorry, that's gonna make it a little less obvious. So how about that? But yeah, that midpoint snap is pretty apparent there. And then I wanted to show here while we're doing that, when I go to plot, again, everywhere I go, look at this it's just AutoCAD. The icon's different, the name is different, but it's got to be basically AutoCAD. But here's my DWG to PDF that comes with AutoCAD 2012 and FX CAD. So that's the native built-in PDF output right there, ready to go. And then there's my PDF 995. Which I have installed, and if I had Adobe or Acroplot or Bluebeam, those would show up here as well. So I'm still going to have all of that capability, but if I'm going to try to type app load, I'm not going to be able to load an additional program. Trying to think if there's anything else that I need to show in here. I don't know, any other thoughts, any other questions, you guys?
There was one. Are there any incentives or bonuses for getting FX CAD now versus 2 years from now?
Well, other than you're just going to see cost savings. You'll have you'll be up with the latest version of AutoCAD. You'll be able to use things like, here's the annotation scale. You'll be, up to speed with that and with the transparency settings. And so, as then the next version of AutoCAD and then the one after that comes out, you're going to be at your full efficiency level as best as possible. Typically in life, the best time to act is now. It's rare there's a time to wait. The only real caveat I would mention with that and with this is just simply the 2013 version of AutoCAD is going to have a different DWG format. And so to just keep that in mind when I go back to here, so yes, so if you were to buy FX CAD right now, that's going to be your 1995. And now that 2013 version comes out, and we should have that assembled and ready. We should have our FX CAD 2013 available in probably late summer. And so that will be then a $250 renewal to move from the 2012 version to the 2013 version, just so that you can open those version 2013 DWGs and save as a version 2013 DWG. So technically, yes, you could say, well, golly gosh, in that case, I'll wait until this fall to save $250. Yes, I suppose you could say that, but you know what? If you were to buy it now, I'm sure we could at least give you a discount on that. I don't know if we could knock off the entire $250 amount, but I bet we could probably give you a little discount on that. And $250 is not a huge amount of money. I think by having the latest version of AutoCAD here, having this 2012, and being up to speed with it, you're going to make $250 worth of efficiency or new capability pretty darn quickly. So that's a fairly moot point in my mind. So that's what I'd have to say.
A comment that they would love to see the FXG PGP file. It says we can deal with the potential conflicts with the AutoCAD PGP file. Is there enough there to attach it to this webinar, or we can send it to this individual or any individual who asks for it?
Certainly, yeah. We actually have that as a white paper right now because we're keeping it as a white paper. What we'll do is, I can certainly, just go ahead and we don't have a problem. Go ahead and send an email or a text to support at landfx.com or send in a tech support request. We will reply today with what we have, but that is going to be a web link, and over time we will keep that up to date. As I said, I just noticed I went through and there's about 80 of the most common in there. Like I said, there's about 230 total LandFX functions. I just noticed we'd gotten about halfway through it the last time I looked at it. But we will basically send you what we have, and you can keep checking for updates, and we can also notify you when that is completely up to date. And and heck, we're also more than willing to have you be a participant in the creation of it, because like I said, it's hard for us because we don't have a single person who's a real keyboard person. I mean, you saw me, of course. I know L means line. There's a few core AutoCAD functions I don't even bother looking for the button. But in terms of the entire LandFX system, I of course know every button so by heart. I'm able to go to it very quickly, but I just wouldn't know like plan graphics. It would just take a lot of, I guess, PG, and place a hatch, I guess PH, but I mean, it would be very difficult for me to really assign them. So if you want to participate in that process and help us give what you think would be good 2, 3, or 4-letter commands for the different things, I'd be happy to get them in and speed the process of creating this PGP file. So do please send any thoughts you guys have.
One more thing on the PDF, if you could go back to that, is can you trace arcs? And I do have some arcs in that particular drawing. You can see one right there. that should be an arc is how those were created. So you could
Mm-hmm.
go to the mid, center, and the end of the arc, then the center of the arc, and then the other end of the arc to draw and mimic that particular arc, it would seem to me.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, if I have end and center alone turned on here, so I mean, I've got definitely end point, and it looks like, so I've got some ends very, so certainly.
Yeah, I tend to go end, center, and then it seems it seems to snap to them.
Pretty there, but yeah, like I said, I mean, there are snap points, that might take a little finessing to see exactly what it's snapping to. It seemed almost, it was a little excessive on the end point snapping, so just not sure.
I tend to go.
That's center. That's not going to.
That's
exactly.
It.
Yeah.
A question is. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Express tools. That's a good question. Does FX CAD have the Express tools?
It does. It does have the Express tools available. That's right. I believe I turned them off here because I don't like them. But yes, it absolutely does have them there. Sorry, did not mention that. About the only ones that brings up a really good comment. We queried people on which Express tools because we were considering not including Express tools. The most common was the Express text tools. And what we were thinking of doing is as you can imagine, in our typical style, let's outdo Autodesk here, we were thinking of doing what Autodesk should have done years and years ago and basically fold it in. Since we do have access to the Express tools, we were thinking of adding right here to the standard AutoCAD text toolbar to just put a divider line and then have the AutoCAD Express text tools right here, right on the same toolbar. Where, honestly, they belong. And then I believe there was a couple other ones like convert attribute to text or something like that. There's a couple of other random ones which were really nice, and we were thinking of basically taking the better of those Express tools and actually folding them into the standard interface so you don't have to bother with a separate menu. But yes, it is there, and if you ever do have an issue with it, we will help you get that up and working. Like I said, I'm not sure why I don't have it on my computer here, but yeah, it should be there. So no worries on the Express tools. That will absolutely work. Similar to that is the Autodesk Impression toolbar. The sort of equivalent to M-Color. That is able to be turned on in there. Autodesk did allow us to include the Autodesk Impression toolbar if you happen to own Impression. I still haven't met a single person who owns it, but that in terms of add-ons would be allowed. So any Autodesk sort of specific add-on like that, particularly just the Autodesk Impression.
Here's a good question. I'm using Bricks CAD now. What are the advantages to using FX CAD?
Well, the number one advantage, no matter who you are, is that we are your support channel for everything. So, that tech support button there, you can use that for AutoCAD issues now. That's pretty cool. So, you're like, boy, I can't plot to PDF. We already got one. Someone had a problem plotting to PDF. And you're able to ask us because we are your support channel. If your FX CAD is not working or not working correctly, we are your support channel for that. How much is that worth to you? So that's pretty cool. Coming from Bricks CAD, I think you have all the traditional advantages of AutoCAD over Bricks CAD. The main, Bricks CAD has essentially one advantage over AutoCAD, and that's price. So, $500 versus $4,000, that's kind of a no-brainer. I think you made the right decision. But now that you're looking at $500 versus $2,000 to get the real deal AutoCAD, where all of these dialog boxes are going to match the numerous resources on the internet, in community college courses, any AutoCAD for Dummies book, so all of your training resources, any employee you hire, if they maybe took a community college course or a full-up college course, they learned AutoCAD. They didn't learn BricsCAD. So things like the dimension style dialog box, they're used to that. Format units. Even though this dialog box is a little clunky, it sure looks a world different than in a BricsCAD. We have to go to the settings menu and navigate through that more all-in-one sort of interface. It's a very different look in some dialog boxes, and I think your primary difference is going to be in terms of training and utilization. And then as we get to the version 2013, to be able to natively save in 2010 format, and then when the 2013 version comes out, to be able to natively save in a 2013 format with 0 issues ever. That's kind of huge. So you're really kind of whittling away at those advantages that BricsCAD has, and now it's, well, $1,500 difference, probably a real head scratcher at that point.
Can you do photo call out in BricsCAD and Google search images of, say, plants?
In BricsCAD, I believe you can. Yes, I mean there was an issue previously, and I recall that was resolved. So there was a issue with in BricsCAD, but I thought that was resolved. It is possible it is not. Like I said, I just cannot recall if that was resolved with BricsCAD. But again, back to that. I mean, yeah, BricsCAD is a bit buggy. It is absolutely a bit buggy. But again, you get what you pay for, and for a $500 CAD package, it is a fantastic program. But to get the real deal AutoCAD for under $2,000, like I said, it just really chisels away at that advantage in my mind. So it has just really made me go, oh, when we first had the opportunity to make a BricsCAD version, that was a no-brainer on our end. We needed an alternative to $4,000 AutoCAD for our people. But now what's great is we've got these 3 options, and I think that's ideal. I don't think I want 4 options. I like 3. But $500 BricsCAD, $1995 FX CAD, or $4,000 AutoCAD.
A quick question. You were looking at saving a file and seeing the different versions of AutoCAD. The question was, are we able to open drawings from older versions of regular AutoCAD, and newer versions is part of the question, but newer versions is a different story. But maybe just showing the versions of AutoCAD that we, with FX CAD, can open and save to.
Exactly. You've got the full AutoCAD functionality in that regard. So, and actually, this is actually another thing that I didn't even mention. I believe some of these options are actually new with recent versions of AutoCAD. Like the ASIS export or something. There's a couple of these I know, but like exporting directly as an EPS file, things like that. If you need to submit a MicroStation file, to be able to export as a DGN. Again, that's a classic. We get this quite often for people who have Department of Transportation contracts and they have to submit a DGN file. You can do all your work in AutoCAD and then just send them a DGN file. So that's the export command right there. And then you also have your save as, and it goes all the way down. And with opening, it's the same. So we can open and save all the way down, full, exactly the same as AutoCAD 2012. But like I said, you will start to see, as soon as I believe this April, you will start to see some version 2013 DWGs. You know, full disclosure, version 2013 AutoCAD is shipping this April. You know, that has to be updated through the OEM program. Then we get the code, we get the application, we then port our application to the 2013. We get it checked out. That process takes months. The same with this 2012 version. We were not, you know, really fully. We did not have our FX CAD fully assembled and shipping until September. So is probably going to be exactly the same this year. We will probably not have our 2013 FX CAD ready until approximately September. So it's you know, going to put us. I don't know whether it's good or bad. I don't know. You know, of course, you always want everything as soon as possible. But like I said, so you can see here, this 2012 version cannot save as a 2013 DWG, and it cannot open a 2013 DWG. And so it would require upgrading it to our FX CAD 2013, which is going to ship in approximately September. And yes, that upgrade, like I said, is the $250. But also, like I said, you know, since if you wanted to upgrade sooner than a year, you know, if you wanted to say, well, gosh, I bought FX CAD, you know, in February for $19.95, and I upgraded to your 2013 version in September, it just feels unfair that I should have to pay the full $250. And you know what? I agree. I fully agree. And we will absolutely give you a discount on that. And in some cases, and certainly even like bulk multi-license cases, we might be able to comp that almost completely, if not completely. So, you know, go ahead. You know, every situation is unique. Please go ahead and send an email to sales or give us a call. Tell us what your situation is. We'll be honest with you, and we'll get something that works for you.
No more questions right now.
All right. Well, this is recorded, so if you want to watch it again and again, you're welcome to. We'll get that up on the website. I really do appreciate everybody's time, and have a good weekend, and we'll see you guys next webinar.